This episode contains adult themes and is not appropriate for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, the world. This is They Will Kill, a true crime podcast. I'm Courtney Eck.
And I'm Sadie Eck.
And we're sisters, and we love to talk about murder. We just love it. And so that's what we're going to do for you today.
Are you guys ready?
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
I have to get my microphone closer. Hold on.
Oh, shit. She's getting in. She's getting in there. It's going to be an intense one if Sadie's
it was just
taking
like 7
the reins.
feet away from my face.
Take it away, Eck, you maniac.
All right. Tonight we're going to talk about the Morington monster.
Yep, I was right.
Yep. So John and Anna Sharpe seemed like your average Australian couple.
Oh, God, the Australians. Scariest horror movies, worst murderers.
Yes.
Fuck.
They met while working together at Commonwealth Bank in Morington, Victoria. Anna, who was born in New Zealand in 1963, grew up with her parents and 2 brothers. When she met John, she was 31 years old, 4 years his senior. She was described as lively, vivacious, and thoughtful woman. Loudest train.
Loudest train, loudest everything. Oh, I found out that the scream birds are a nest of baby hawks, and they are... Their parents aren't feeding them anymore, so they learned how to eat. So they're just sitting up there, just Yep. Yep.
She was described as, quote, a lively, vivacious, and thoughtful woman, a person who was concerned for the good of others. John was born February 28th, 1967, in Morington. He grew up with his parents, 4 older sisters, and a younger brother. His parents were shopkeepers in town, and by all accounts his childhood was unremarkable. At first, Anna wasn't sure about John. He was socially awkward and shy, but he seemed to really care about her. Anna's family described John as a, quote, deadbeat, but did their best to support her relationship. In October of 1994, the two married. Soon after the honeymoon, Anna told her mother that she thought she made a mistake, but she desperately wanted to make things work and stayed with her husband.
There's nothing worse than that. Well, the only thing worse than that is like realizing right before the wedding that you don't want to get married. Not from my personal experience, even a little bit.
Let me tell you.
You guys. No, I did have a friend who was like, the invitations were out. It was too late. Like, it's never too late.
Never too late.
No.
Never too late. And even after it's done, if you just got out of your honeymoon, if your honeymoon sucked.
Get out.
Yeah, and your family doesn't really like him.
Run.
You don't really like him.
No, you should just stick it out. That's what good women do. Just kidding.
So 7 years into their marriage, Anna became pregnant. She was thrilled, but John was furious. They had originally agreed they didn't want children, but Anna changed her mind once becoming a mom became a reality. John felt like she got pregnant without his consent.
So this relationship is just on super sure footing. Just doesn't like him, just betrayed him and got pregnant anyway. Cool.
Yep. On August 13th, 2002, they welcomed their daughter, Gracie Louise Sharpe, into the world. Gracie had a rough start to life. She was born with hip dysplasia, which required a brace to keep her joints in place. She wore this for the first few months of her life.
Buddy.
This condition was not expected to create a long-term issue for her. However, as an infant, she was cranky, uncomfortable, and had difficulty sleeping. Anna quit her job to stay home full-time to care for her daughter. The stress of having a baby with higher needs began to strain John and Anna's marriage even more. Even after the braces were removed, Gracie still struggled with sleeping, and Anna eventually sought professional help to establish better sleeping patterns and to alleviate Anna's own anxiety. It sounds like they admitted her into a little hospital with she and the baby were able to go.
Wow.
And get help and sleep and learn about sleeping. I know, when I read that I was like, oh my God, please.
What a concept. You're like, take me there now.
Yes.
That's incredible.
I know. It's another example of how shitty our healthcare system is.
That's me moving to Australia right now.
In September 2003, the couple purchased a new house. Gracie was 15 months old, and shortly after the move, Anna announced she was pregnant again.
Ruh-roh.
This came as a complete surprise to John. The couple rarely had sex, and he didn't think they were intimate enough for Anna to become pregnant.
I mean, just takes once, guys. Mm-hmm. It's not like a cumulative experience. Like, you don't have to build it up.
No. It's possible he thought that she was having an affair and got pregnant as a result. Mm-hmm. He was not pleased to be having another baby and was becoming increasingly unhappy in an already unhappy marriage. According to friends, John went from being mild-mannered and gentle to angry and combative with Anna. In early 2004, John purchased a high-powered spear gun and a second spear at a local shop in Morington. He had not previously shown an interest in spearfishing. He practiced firing the spear gun in the backyard to learn how it worked.
I do not like the sounds of that.
Nope. On the evening of March 19th, a friend of Anna's stayed the night in their new home. She said nothing felt out of place between the couple, and despite the stress of the previous years, they seemed happy. In the days that followed, the family went to a nephew's birthday party. Anna had a long phone conversation with her mother in New Zealand and a close friend. Everyone who saw the family or talked to Anna said the conversations were, quote, normal, and she wasn't bothered or upset about anything. On the evening of March 23rd, John and Anna had a heated argument. According to John, he couldn't remember what the fight was about. Sometime between 9 and 10 p.m., the couple went to bed. Anna fell asleep, but John did not. He stayed awake. He laid next to Anna while brooding over what he thought to be a failing marriage. He then made the choice to go to the garage and retrieve his spear gun.
And go for a midnight fishing expedition.
As his wife slept, John loaded the spear gun and returned to their shared bedroom. He positioned the gun only centimeters from her left temple and fired it into her skull.
Oh my God.
He noticed Anna was still breathing, so John took the second spear, loaded it into the gun, and fired it next to the first shot.
Oh my God.
The second shot killed Anna. He then covered her body in towels so he didn't have to look at her, and went downstairs and unfolded the sofa bed where he spent the night.
What the fuck?
Yeah. In the morning, he took Gracie to daycare and picked her up a few hours later. Later in the day, a TV repairman arrived as scheduled to fix a broken TV. While he worked, Anna's body was laying upstairs in the bedroom.
That is so spooky.
After he left, John made an attempt to remove the spears lodged into his pregnant wife's head. This proved to be too difficult, so he decided to unscrew the shafts and left the spears buried inside her skull.
Why would you try to take them out?
Well, if you look at pictures, I can post some. It's a very long spear. It's like feet long.
Got it. So it's not like he was actually going to go spear fishing with the spears after the fact. He was just trying to make it easier to move her body.
Right. But he couldn't get the spear head out, so he just removed the shaft.
Why would you kill someone with a fishing spear?
Yeah.
Other than to just ruin my life with that image.
Right.
So scary.
So scary, yeah. And, that's a big question that came up a lot when I was reading it. And they were saying that it's just access to firearms.
Right.
So they...
Right. In Australia, you can't...
so scary and awful.
Yeah, that's going to be very efficient. Like, it'll probably do the job.
Right.
Ugh.
He then dug a shallow grave in their backyard and buried her in the dirt. At one point, Anna's mother called to talk. John told her an elaborate tale of his wife leaving him for another man, and that the baby she was pregnant with was not John's, but belonged to the other guy.
Uh-oh.
He said he expected Anna to return on Sunday to pick up Gracie. Anna's mother was immediately concerned. Her daughter hadn't mentioned another man or plans to leave John. She also knew Anna would never leave Gracie with John. He was not a good father and never showed Gracie any real affection.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, John and Gracie went back to the sporting goods store and bought another spear for his spear gun.
No.
So here's a big old trigger warning, you guys. This one is brutal. Major violence towards a little girl.
Oh, God.
So if you don't want to hear it, give us like 3 minutes. Skip ahead. It won't last long and we won't talk about it again.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. On March 27th, John put his daughter Gracie to bed in her crib and then had several glasses of whiskey and coke in order to, quote, numb his senses. He once again retrieved the spear gun from his garage and loaded it with a newly acquired spear. He went into his 20-month-old baby's room and fired the spear at her head, penetrating her skull. This first shot did not kill the poor girl. With his child alive and screaming loudly, John retrieved the 2 spear shafts without the spears, which he had early removed from his wife, and returned to the bedroom. He then fired both into Gracie's skull, but she was still alive.
Oh, God.
So he withdrew 1 spear from her head and fired again, finally killing her.
Oh, God.
He returned to Gracie's bedroom the next morning and pulled the spears from her head while holding a towel in front of his face because he couldn't bear to look at her.
Oh, God.
No,
People. No, the things that people are capable of.
He then wrapped her tiny body in garbage bags and a tarp and bound her with black duct tape. He then disposed of her body at the Morington dump, along with the spear gun, the spears, and some of her clothes and toys. After this was done, John phoned his mother-in-law, Anna's mother, and told her that Gracie was now with Anna in a, quote, bigger and better place.
Oh, my God.
He then made the first of several withdrawals from Anna's bank account using her card and made a number of calls using Anna's mobile phone to maintain the impression that she was still alive. On March 29th, John visited a local hardware store where he purchased a roll of duct tape, 2 tarps, and an electric chainsaw.
Now what's he gonna fucking do? Oh, no.
The following day, he dug up the body of his wife and proceeded to cut it into 3 pieces.
Ah.
He then wrapped the remains in a tarp and went back to the dump where he disposed of Anna's body and the chainsaw he used to dismember her.
Oh, my God.
When he got back, he then sent a fake email to Anna's family in New Zealand to convince them that Anna was alive and well. This was a long email. I'm not going to read all of it. But at the end, he wrote, quote, I want to make it clear, Mum, that although I haven't rung you, I'm not angry with you or trying to punish you. Gracie is fine and was thrilled to see me when I came to collect her. It was a magic moment, and she was clinging to me like a monkey and laughing, saying, Mama. I hope you can all rest easy now that you've read this, and I'm sorry that I've told a few white lies in the past few months in relation to how stressed I am and how full-on Gracie is. Please respect and understand my wish for privacy, and take comfort in the fact that I'm about to enjoy life like I never have before.
What a scumbag.
Yeah. I mean, he just murdered his wife and child.
And then he's making these, like, fanciful scenarios. Gross.
Well, it's just torture.
Yes.
Like, why would you put her family through that torture?
Also, why wouldn't you just leave your wife and child? Just go drive away.
Yeah, right?
You know, there's like a zillion different scenarios in which your wife and child don't get speared in the head.
Right.
And you can have a new life.
Right.
It will never make sense to me.
Never. Nope. Rather than comfort the family, his email caused them to worry, and Anna's mother reported her daughter's disappearance to the police in New Zealand.
Yeah, good. If I suddenly got an email like that from you, I'd be like, no, hell no. If it wasn't just like a bunch of like F words and like a dancing gif or something, I'd be like,
Right. Yeah, and it was really, I mean, the whole email was very, very long. Like, the fact that he thought he could get away with that, like, pulling it off.
Right. It's
stupid.
It's not the turn of the century, dude. She's not like taking a ship to the new land or something.
Right. No.
Nobody writes like that.
Right. When the police arrived to question John, he told them that Anna had moved to the nearby Melbourne suburb of Chelsea with their daughter and denied any knowledge or involvement in her disappearance. He then arranged for flowers to be delivered in Anna's name to his mother-in-law on her birthday. During the month of May 2004, John gave several media interviews and appeared on national television to speak about Anna and Gracie's disappearance. In one interview, he said, quote, Anna, our marriage may be over, but I still love you, and you are the mother of our beautiful daughter, Gracie, whom we both adore more than anyone else.
God damn it.
John then claimed he had talked to his wife a week earlier and asked anyone with information on their whereabouts to come forward. In the same breath, he also maintained that she had run off with another man. John was interviewed by police on May 20th and June 10th. He stuck to his story. He claimed that she had returned to Morington a number of times to collect clothing and personal belongings. He made a written statement to police denying any involvement in Anna or Gracie's disappearance. Investigators began secretly following John, hoping that he would lead them to his wife. They observed him going to a toilet block at Martha Beach in Morington, where they later found Anna's ATM card and mobile phone in the garbage. Police also found several notes in John's handwriting that had been thrown out in different bins around Morington. These notes detailed parts of his cover story and even backup stories.
Wait, so he just notes that he wrote?
Yeah, like notes to keep his cover story straight.
God
And
damn
then
it,
he
people.
also wrote other stories as backup. Just in case.
When you write down the whole crime, it defeats the purpose of committing the crime.
Right.
I appreciate it when you do it. It makes things much more easy to track and much more straightforward. But, like, just say them out loud a few times or something.
Right. Or, like,
insane.
write it down if you have to and burn it. I don't know.
I know.
I don't need to give anybody ideas on how to cover up a crime, but
it just never ceases to amaze me. It's like you don't have to listen to every true crime podcast of all time to know that that's just a real swift way to get caught.
when authorities searched the house, they found a receipt for an electric chainsaw, tarps, and duct tape. The big break in the case was when they uncovered both Gracie and Anna's blood inside the home.
Oh, God.
On June 22nd, the police had enough evidence to arrest John. He was interviewed twice that day. At first, he denied any involvement with his wife and child's disappearance, but after talking to his family, he told police that he'd murdered Anna and Gracie. John told authorities his marriage was unhappy and that his wife was controlling and moody. He claimed she came between him and his family and siblings and prevented him from seeing them as often as he would have liked.
I think that's called paternal responsibility, you piece of shit.
He also told police he, quote, was thinking of taking care of Gracie by myself, and just amongst all this madness, that's when I lost the plot. When asked, well, I mean, his notes didn't, like, he couldn't write enough backstories to figure out how to incorporate Gracie and keep her alive.
Right. He's like, go to Sexy Island, live as sexy. Ah, damn it.
Yeah.
She doesn't fit into that one either.
When asked why he killed Gracie, he replied, quote, the child belongs with the mother.
Oh, don't even do me any favors.
After searching the landfill for 3 weeks, police managed to find the remains of Anna and Gracie. Forensic evidence and autopsies of their bodies confirmed John was telling the truth about the way he murdered them and disposed of their remains. A lot of the articles talk about the search and how awful it was, just digging through tons and
garbage.
tons of garbage and toxic waste. But people kept coming back. It was mostly volunteers and
No way.
police force too, but everybody was just super committed. They really wanted to find their bodies, and
Wow.
yeah.
I know, like, what a son of a bitch. You can't even bury them properly.
Right. During the investigation, police found family letters that revealed John had a history of abusing children.
What?
He allegedly committed sex crimes on young members of his family and friends 2 decades before he killed Anna and Gracie.
Oh, no.
According to John's family, Anna was never told her husband was a pedophile, and they wondered if he killed her because she discovered him molesting Gracie.
That would explain a lot more.
Right.
Just deciding to do it because you think she's cheating on you.
Right. But it's never been substantiated. There's no way to prove it.
Right.
One of his victims was a young female relative. She claims he molested her for 2 years until he turned 18. During the attacks, he also had another child molest her.
Oh, my God.
Quote, I became his prey for 2 years, and he always kept that power, the victim said in a chilling letter to several members of John's family. Quote, his smells still haunt me.
Oh, God.
The victim approached some of John's siblings in 2000 to tell them she had been molested by him, and she told police about the crimes after Anna and Gracie went missing. She's tormented by the abuse and the knowledge that reporting the abuse earlier might have prevented the murders. Quote, I fear the day that he is released. I fear for my own life and for that of my children. He's a dangerous monster, she said. She continues, John Sharpe has robbed me of so much and has not been easy living with the continued pain of lost innocence, fear, and guilt from his actions. And now his more recent and most hideous crime has truly added to the mixture of fear, guilt, and disgust I have.
Oh, God, I bet.
When asked about his past, John's mother states, quote, John hasn't just snapped as of recent times. He has always been sick, manipulative, and sly, but none of you are ever privy enough to see that side of him.
God.
No.
Why don't you do something about it?
John's mother was not told of her son's sex crimes until after he had admitted to the murders.
Wow.
According to his family, when John's sex abuse victim became an adult, she confronted him about the molestation, but he told her she was a, quote, slut who deserved it.
I'm so mad right now.
Yep. John then tried to apologize to the woman once he was under a police investigation over his family's disappearance.
That didn't make me any less mad.
No.
No.
All about him.
He's a manipulative piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. In the lead up to the trial, John's mental health was examined. Investigators found that he had visited his general practitioner in the weeks immediately before the murders, complaining of disturbed sleep patterns. He was prescribed 2 different types of sleeping pills, but they hadn't helped, and the doctor thought John might possibly be suffering from depression. Eventually, the doctor did diagnose John with depression, but that was only after a consultation after he'd murdered his wife and daughter. John told him the false story of Anna leaving him for another man. The doctor found John agitated and suffering from poor memory and concentration. Looking back, these findings are not surprising, knowing the stress he must have been under trying to cover up the murders of his family.
Oh, poor John. It's really stressful to dislodge spears and chop up bodies. You poor thing.
A forensic psychiatrist, Dr. Lester Walton, examined John twice before the trial. He found John to be, quote, socially inept, dependent, passive, and a retiring individual who was unable or reluctant to confront problems.
I think that might be my least favorite person.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Just like lazy and evil. Like, I think a lot of murderers are like that.
Right. Dr. Walton believed John saw difficulties in his marriage that could not be overcome, and that the only solution to this was to kill Anna and subsequently Gracie. Besides depression, the doctor could find no evidence of psychiatric illness that led him to murder.
Yeah. I think we see that a lot too. Just, lazy murder. Is that like a qualification?
It is now.
He's just a lazy murderer. It's like committing murder takes a ton of work, but in the mind of a lazy murderer, it seems like the easiest way out.
Yep. Another doctor also examined John, and based on his history, information he obtained from members of John's family, when looking at the evidence from the case, he formed the opinion that leading up to the birth of Gracie, John was in a somewhat fragile psychological state. He found him to be an, quote, inadequate, isolated, and withdrawn individual. He lacked appropriate social skills and had few friends. The doctor also thought John was very dependent on his parents and lacked the psychological resources to cope with the stressors in his life, marriage, the arrival of a child, and his change of career that occurred right before the murders.
Right.
The difficulties Gracie experienced in her early months and Anna's announcement that she was pregnant again caused John to attribute his difficulties to Anna. He told the doctor that Anna was, quote, killing him. This could mean that he thought she was killing him psychologically, or that his depression was causing him to be suicidal. It was in this psychological turmoil that he bought the spear gun and began contemplating, if not deciding upon, killing his wife.
Right.
So for me, it just isn't quite enough. You know? It's never enough. There's no reason to do this, but...
Except for insurance money. I mean, I think that's a great reason. Just fucking tons of money, like, super easy.
Done. So I was poking around and I found an article that mentions the Sharpe family murders. But it also goes into sort of why men in particular do this.
I was just going to bring that up. Yes, take me there.
So I'm going to read from an article titled Inside the Criminal Mind from The Australian. Forensic psychologist Sandy Rhea helped implement a cognitive skills program in Morington Jail, Victoria. The program aimed to help offenders, quote, identify the underlying cause of their behavior when committing violent crimes. She dealt with all kinds of offenders, but it was those who had committed violent crime against women who drew her attention. Were they mad or just bad?
Ooh.
Evil does exist, she says, but only in a small minority. Psychopaths, who have a strong predisposition to evil, compounded and brought about by the environment in which they grew up.
Yep. Hey guys, go right on back to the last episode and
I know.
listen to it if you want to hear more about that.
I know. I had most of this written when you were doing your episode
Nope.
last time, and I was
Fucking riding on my coattails. No, I'm just kidding. That's awesome.
yeah. If anybody's like us, which I think we've got a lot of people out there like us,
Yes.
I could listen to psychopath behavior all for the rest of my life.
Tell me everything you know all the
Yeah.
time, 24/7. I know my wife's like, God, how? Why? I'm like, I'll never know all of it. You know, I'll
No.
just never arrive at the answer. So I
Right.
just keep listening.
Yep. Rhea concluded that men who hurt women almost always had a long-standing history of suppressed anger or mismanagement of their emotions.
Yep.
They were in dysfunctional relationships and had poor familial networks.
Yep.
Their social skills were undernourished.
Yep.
They, quote, ticked all the boxes, she says. She continues, they rarely have enmeshed strategies and coping skills, the morals and values that most men have. Rhea came up with 3 attitudes towards women that sex offenders and perpetrators of violence against women share: entitlement and a sense of ownership or proprietorship. Quote, these define most of the guys who reside in jail and almost all the violent offenders against women. Their actions say, I have a sense of entitlement, I want, I get. I have a sense of proprietorship, you're mine and I will do what I want with you. And there's a sense of ownership. You, the victim, has no right to object.
Yep.
When a relationship breaks down, a man with such attitudes might complain of his partner that, quote, she won't do what I want. In extremely rare cases, a man with such attitudes and without skills for self-soothing can be moved to murder his partner or children to, quote, get back at his spouse.
Yep.
Rhea dismisses the common defense argument that a man who kills his family members is not responsible because he's in a dissociative state. Insanity is not a temporary or short-lived condition, she argues. Quote, it's still about ownership and proprietorship, getting back to those women and those children they see as possessions. At the moment of the crime, he is in a dissociative state, almost a psychotic state, and there is no connection between the person who is my blood, this child I am nurturing, whom I adore. There are only obsessive thoughts of, I'm going to pay my wife back big time.
Right. Totally.
Remorse is rarely expressed by such individuals because the underlying self-justification is implicable. Rhea says any remorse in court is also to be heavily discounted. Quote, there are very few offenders who cry at commission of their offense. They only cry afterwards, she says.
Yep.
Rhea believes we as a society need to examine how male anger is dealt with. Few young men are taught to self-soothe or self-regulate their behavior
Yes.
until the effects become antisocial.
Yes, yes, yes.
John Sharpe pled guilty to the murders of Anna and Gracie. Victorian Supreme Court judge handed down 2 life terms with a non-parole period of 33 years.
Thank God.
He said John's killing of his wife was, quote, singular in its barbarity, and that he murdered his daughter, quote, simply so that your first crime would not be discovered.
Yep.
He described the crimes as, quote, egregiously wicked.
Correct.
After the trial, John's mother said, quote, John's crimes were horrific, and he will serve the sentence given. He has given himself a life sentence for what he has done, and he will live with this for the rest of his life. She also described the months following the double murder as very stressful and traumatic time for both families. And it doesn't sound like his family supported him one single bit. They were really upset and horrified.
Well, should have taught him a self-soothing technique or two.
One of John's nieces, naming herself only as Amanda, issued a statement saying it was on behalf of, quote, non-supportive family members of John Sharpe. We would like to say that John's crimes have stolen 3 beautiful and precious lives. We also send our heartfelt condolences to Anna's family in New Zealand, whose pain and suffering is tremendous.
I just can't imagine.
No,
Like, ugh.
no. John will be eligible for parole in 2037. He was put into protective custody due to threats on his life from fellow inmates, and he remains there to this day.
I bet. Good riddance.
Yep. Anna and Gracie were buried together, surrounded by wreaths of red roses, pink lilies, and white daisies. They were buried under Anna's maiden name, which is Kemp.
Good.
Anna's family named her unborn baby, who was a boy, Francis.
Oh, buddy.
Gracie's birth and death certificate have both been altered to list the father as unknown.
Oh, snap. Good. Fuck that guy.
And there you go, guys.
Wowzies.
There's the tale of the Morington motherfucking monster.
That is the terror tale of the motherfucking monster, whatever. Yes. It's so interesting, too. Like, I've been thinking about this a lot, like specifically, you know, men and their anger and their entitlement and things. And okay, real fast. I'm not going to go on a crazy rant about men. Just a heads up. But it is, you know, we all have different experiences in life. Society affects us all differently. And men hold the power, but they also are victims to patriarchy, basically.
Yes.
Like, they don't get to have sadness. They don't get to have anger. They don't, you know, or they get to have too much anger. You know, there's just no regulating of those emotions. And so it creates all kinds of fucking chaos. Like, I would say the majority of chaos is caused by the fact that we don't raise our boys right.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And I don't think it's their fault. I mean, I do. I think you have to have accountability for your actions, but it's also like, if you're raised that way, which just about every man of our generation and above was, it's going to cause a lot of fucking problems. So I won't go on and on about it, but if you are the mother or father of young boys, please teach them how to feel their feelings and talk about their feelings, and don't be like my sister who doesn't listen. I'm just kidding. It's incredible to watch my Sadie with my nephews, because they can identify how they're feeling. They can talk about how they're feeling. They can, you know, move through it and communicate about it. It's remarkable.
But it's also been a very conscious decision. My instinct is to shut it down. And I think that that's what we were, I mean, not necessarily we, but that's, you know, we're taught in general as a society to not feel our feelings. And when my boys get upset and angry and cry,
it's annoying.
A gut reaction to be like, stop that and go away. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
And it takes a lot of
Yep.
thought on my part, and I don't always do it.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, it takes a lot of thought for me to stop.
Yeah.
And hug them and support them through their feelings.
Yeah. And say, what are you feeling right now? And they can
Yeah.
identify it. And then you can
Right.
say, that's okay. It's okay to feel that way. What are we going to do about it?
Right.
Yeah. I was helping the oldest on a bike, on a big kid bike when I was down there last, and he was getting really frustrated and didn't want to follow through with it. And after a few minutes, he said, I just feel really embarrassed right now.
Oh, buddy.
And I just thought that was like so mature, you know, because it's true. It's like embarrassed, afraid, you know, these are the things that trigger everyone, but especially men and boys, to do bad behaviors, you know, to get aggressive or blame it on somebody else or whatever. So yeah, if you're a grown man and you struggle with that, you can email us. We'll talk to you about it.
I will help you identify your feelings.
Yes, it's certainly not too late. And what a freeing experience. You know, you read accounts of, you know, like white supremacists who move away from supremacy, or, you know, people in like really restrictive religions or things that move out of those spaces and into like happier places in their lives. And what a weight off, you know, to just to not have to feel angry and aggressive and hurtful, and to just be able to feel like sad and embarrassed or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can relate to that too. It's like, I've realized that when I'm talking to clients, for example, you know, I work with pretty intimidating people and they're paying me a lot of money to do things. And rather than stress out, I think it's okay for me. I've started saying, I'm feeling kind of vulnerable about this, you know, and I don't have to say it like a therapy session, but I can just say, you know, I'm feeling nervous for the X, Y, and Z reasons. Right. And people love it. Of course they respond to it. You know, it just puts it in a place where we can have an open communication, and I don't have to carry all this fucking weight around.
Right. Well,
you know?
You're showing that you care about what
right.
you're working on.
Good point. Yep. I hadn't really thought of that because that is really the essence of it. I'm afraid of doing a bad job, so I stress out and I ruin my own life over it. And it's not necessary. I can just say that to people just so they can put them in a better position when talking to me so that they're not stressing me out, you know? And then I end up doing a bad job because I'm stressed, not because I'm not capable.
Right.
Yep.
We'd all be better off if we could just tell each other how we're feeling.
Yeah, and then we would avoid spearing our families in the heads. So that poor everybody. Every time, poor everybody. But good work, man. That's a very timely tale. A terrible tale, but a very timely tale.
Yeah.
Little babies.
I know.
Good job.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
One of those stories that I can't really internalize too much because it will destroy me. So
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. No. Well, shit.
Yeah. How's your week been?
Good.
How's life going?
Very well. It's been a good week. I feel like we talked about this last episode, but I'm feeling very empowered to make consistent change in my life and understanding what that looks like, and that makes me feel happy. You know, like it's not about my happiness. We've talked about this too. I don't want to be like, oh, this is a positive thing, because it's not, because there's still tremendous suffering and sacrifice that's happening. But it does make me feel strong, I guess is a better word, to support a movement into a better world long term. So little things like buying my laundry detergent from a Black-owned business and shit like that, you know, just making these little adjustments every day as I go, and like stopping and saying, okay, in this moment, what's going to make the world a better place, and choosing that thing, even if it's a little bit more expensive or a little bit less convenient. And and also donating the shit out of my money and making calls, signing petitions, you know, supporting people who are on the front lines, all of those things, sharing information. But those are the things that I'm putting into practice so that I can continue that shit long term.
Booyah.
Booyah. How's your week been?
Awesome. Busy.
Sadie's tie. She's got a lot on her plate.
Yep. The nature of my husband's job is that summers are very busy. So he was home a lot, and now he is not home a lot. So
yeah.
Yep.
Too bad for
kids.
you.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
So yeah, just getting through.
Yep.
Making sure they can feel their feelings.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing.
I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. It would just be like...
Well, and I think, you know, I want to make room for all sorts of things. I want to do lots and lots of stuff. I have to remind myself that it is about doing what you can when you can do it, being aware, thinking, you know, just keeping it in your mind. But really my focus has had to be here in my family. Yeah. Which is important. And just keep reminding myself there will be more space in my life soon. I will create more space. Right. To do more things for others.
Yeah. 1,000,000%. You know, whatever it is that you can do that you can sustain long term, like push yourself to be uncomfortable for sure, but also don't let it put you into a panic and overwhelm you so that you shut down and don't do anything, because I think that that's a really common reaction that we have. I had it for a really long time too. So if you're feeling that, you know, just take a little baby step and start to put it into place on whatever level that is for you. All of you out there, it's okay. That's 1,000,000,000% okay.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you don't have to pretend to be somebody you're not to make a difference.
No. So I'll do other things. Yep. Like watch the Hat Man documentary, which is something I did today. I
never heard of it.
I had like 2 hours free, and I was like, I'm gonna watch a scary movie. Somehow I chose the Hat Man documentary, and you guys, like, spooky pasta, or what is it called? Spooky pasta? Creepy pasta. Sorry, God, I'm old. Creepy pastas and
spooky pasta.
What is this? Scary pasta? Creepy pastas and sleep paralysis and all that shit. Fucking man.
Weird.
It's not
What's
even
it called again?
The Hat Man. So he's one of the characters that people see at the end of the bed during sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
You know, like he looks like the Babadook.
Yes.
There's like the old woman. There's a cat character that I think is kind of the old woman. Yeah. So it's not, I would say it's a good documentary, but they do a lot of like tele interviews, like Zoom interviews basically. And so the quality isn't the best, which I was kind of grateful for, because I think I would have just fully like shit my pants, because I would have been so scared. This was just 2 hours ago, like broad daylight watching.
No, I'm pretty scared just by you telling me a tiny little bit about it.
Yes. It's pretty fucking spooky. And then when they bring it into like Judaism and all this like ancient lore and things, I was like,
Yep.
People seeing him in waking hours and stuff, and there was like people like him in the back of photographs.
Oh. Where did you watch it?
I think it was on Prime.
Oh God.
I have no idea how it came across my plate.
Well, you've tapped into the algorithm of creepy shit.
Oh yeah, I feel really bad too, because we live in a vacation community and I have vacation home that people rent, and I share my Amazon with those people.
Oh God.
And I watch a lot of horror movies, and so I'll watch 1 or 5, and then I'll like put on like Mr. Holland's Opus and like
Care Bears.
Yeah, exactly, and just bury it down the line, because if you have an Amazon Fire Stick, you know, everything you recently watched is all in a line.
Right.
So I'll just La Bamba, and just like push it a bit far back so that people can't immediately, it doesn't pop up like a ton of horror movies.
Oh, that's funny.
Yep.
I watched Lenox Hill on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Is it good?
Yeah, it's just a reality show about doctors, and
Oof.
it was awesome.
Did you finish Schitt's Creek?
I haven't yet. No.
What? You are a maniac.
I know. We took because my husband's working.
Oh, right. I forgot that Ryan's
life's so crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I've been waiting for him to be home, which isn't going to happen for a while. So.
Yep.
And
you watched all the Queer Eyes? I finished all the Queer Eyes.
Yep, did.
Laura won't, like, we really have to space them out, because she's like, I don't want to be all puffy tomorrow. I don't want to cry.
God. All right,
so,
we got shout out.
Yes, we got some new Patreon supporters. Shout out. Somebody's jumping over there early, because we're gonna, like I said before, we're gonna be putting half of our content on Patreon as of like mid-July.
Yeah.
We'll keep giving you a countdown, so you still got some time, but yep, pretty soon gonna have to give us at least $3 a month if you want to listen to the rest of what we have to say. Who is it?
Sarah M.
Welcome to the killer squad. Sarah M. Woo! Welcome to the heap and pile of Eccles cakes that we are amassing. We are very happy to have you.
Acolyte Club.
Acolyte Club. Yeah, I don't know if you're ever going to get names, you guys.
No, that's all right.
No, gorgeous angel society of sickos.
That's right. Thank you, Sarah,
so
much for supporting us.
We're very happy to have you.
Huge difference. You'll be getting some goodies in the mail soon.
Yep.
Anything else?
I don't think so, guys. I think we are less shadow banned, so if you want to find us on Instagram, you can find us. Yep. It seems like it's lifted. The shadow has passed.
We probably, if we release this on Saturday, we might be doing the
drawing. Thank you. Yes, I did mean to say that. We're doing a drawing. If you're hearing this on Saturday, June, whatever that is, 27th or something? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yes, Saturday, June 27th. You still have time. I think we'll probably do the drawing on Sunday. So go to Instagram, tag 3 friends. We have 6 openings this time.
Mm-hmm. Really good prizes.
Yes, 4 of them. You can either purchase something from a Black-owned business worth $50 or donate that $50. And then you get other goodies. They Will Kill stuff. And then 2 of them is just They Will Kill stuff. But you can go on Etsy. You can go anywhere. You can just buy yourself something for $50 as long as it's from a Black-owned business. If you want some suggestions, I've spent a lot of time browsing the Black-owned business section of Etsy. And if not enough people sign up, I'm just going to buy myself something from Black-owned Etsy because it's gorgeous over there.
Yep.
These little ring holders. I don't even need a ring holder, but these little hands with some like golden flowers embedded in them.
Beautiful jewelry.
Wallets. I don't have my ears pierced, but those earrings that I posted on Instagram are fucking cool. Lampshades. Men's stuff. There's men's products. Anyway.
Go check it out.
Please do. They Will Kill on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Go to our website. Our website is theywillkill.com, and our Gmail is theywillkillpodcast@gmail.com. Also known as our email. I'm not going to just start saying Gmail me.
Gmail.
Nope. Not giving you that power, Google, you powerful sons of bitches.
Start calling like Gmail.
Gmail. Well, now that you put it like that,
Gmail.
Gmail us at theywillkillpodcast@gmail.com.
Rate, review, subscribe, please.
Yes, please.
Thank you, AJ Bergans, for our music. I'm allowed officially to announce that he and my beautiful sister-in-law Sandra are having twins.
Woo!
Yay!
I hope
This
they named
auntie
them.
over here is. I'm just so excited.
Oh God, they're going to be very attractive babies, first of all, and talented, and so sweet.
So sweet.
They're the best parents.
Smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You hope they're gonna name them what?
I don't know, like Jeffrey,
Courtney and Sadie.
Jeffrey and Lundgren. Yeah, Jeffrey, Courtney, and Sadie Lundgren. Bergans.
You can hear that, guys.
Yeah.
If you don't,
Courtney, Jeffrey,
do it, we're gonna.
Bergans.
If you don't, we'll sue those babies as soon as they're born.
Yes, infant litigation.
And remember,
I'm gonna sue your babies. Everybody's babies. Gonna get subpoenaed. Gonna get deposed.
gonna get emancipated. No,
Yes, bring that. I was thinking about that today. I'm gonna emancipate you from your babies for
Is
no
it
reason.
emancipate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I'm gonna represent your babies and have them become emancipated from you. So
There you
look
go,
out.
guys.
There you
Thanks
go.
for listening.
Love you.
We
Goodbye.
love you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.